everybody? We're back with Life Without Limits. We decided to bring y'all a very special edition today. It's gonna be a quick little shorty, maybe a little 30-minute clip of sports. Basically, I'm here with T Mill. If y'all know T Mill is like a sports encyclopedia that has legs and can breathe and
This is
eat.
what I do. This is
This
what
is
I
what he
do.
does. All right. This
So,
dude's been spitting sports facts since high school. As long as I've known him, and I've known him since high school.
we're gonna talk a little postseason baseball today, a little October baseball.
Let's do it.
So there's a couple new faces this year in the tournament. Not really new faces, but San Francisco Giants. They say they only went on odd years. They won three, in the 2000 teens.
Do they
And
really say that?
yeah, if you look, I think it was 11, 13, and 15 or so, 09, something like that.
That they won?
Hmm.
You can put the headphones on if you want. You'll hear me
Oh,
better.
there we go. Yeah, sweet. This has been a long time coming. We've been trying to put this together for a while.
No, for sure.
So, I
I'm
mean, when I
glad we
say a
could finally
while,
fucking do it.
I
And
mean
what the best time to do it, right?
October baseball.
October baseball.
Now, right now, Astros have been,
Screwed as
yeah.
always. Let's just get that out the way.
So
Fuck you, MLB.
we are a Houston-based podcast, but I mean, we try not to have any bias. But we'll start off with two wild cards. Two wild cards are strong. If you would have told me in January that we were going to have the Dodgers against the Cardinals, I'd have told you you're way out of there. In this case, you've got the Dodgers maybe losing to the Padres, and the Padres winning it. No, sir. The
Nope.
Giants won.
The
Okay,
Padres aren't even in it.
the Padres are totally out. The Giants won the NL West. They are the team to beat. Uh, and then the Cardinals are coming in on that tear, 16-game win streak. They dropped one to Milwaukee, and then after that, they kind of sewed it up. Then you got in the AL, you got the Red
Ye-
Sox and the Yankees.
What a game.
Dude, that is going to be something. I don't
Couldn't
know if
ask for anything more magical in
I don't know if
baseball,
anybody
right?
was paying attention, but up to in the last week, there were potential three-way ties.
Yeah,
I
there
don't-
was like 16 different scenarios
so
that could
if
happen.
anybody has ever seen the way a three-way tie works, is you have Team A, Team B, and Team C.
Hmm.
Team A, if it's a three-way tie, Team A plays Team B, and winner plays Team C, or Team A has the choice for Team B and C to play, and Team A to play the winner. But Team A is the road team, so it's a crazy situation, and it's only happened a handful of times. But we're also in the runs for a four-way tie until they locked it up. I think Aaron Judge had a walk-off, unfortunately.
Fuck him.
Don't mean to be biased, but nobody likes Aaron Judge
Nobody likes the Yankees
except the Yankees.
except the Yankee fans.
So right now we're recording, just trying to get this in before the playoffs start. So one and one, whoever wins goes on. So let's say we'll start off with the Red Sox and the Yankees. I am a Yankees hater, but all that aside, let's see. I think the Yankees are throwing Garrett Cole, the $300 million man, and then on the bump for the Red Sox, looks like they're probably going to throw Evaldi. They got the Alvin kid. Went to, I believe it's Alvin High School. But yeah, Garrett Cole versus Nate Evaldi. I'm hoping the Red Sox pull it out. I'm thinking the Yankees are going to pull it out. The Yankees are favored. They're a minus 121 favorite. Garrett Cole is absolute nails, especially in the playoffs. Vegas thinks it's going to be a fairly low game. Let's say over or under 8 runs. What are you
But the
thinking?
emotion of the game has to have something to do with it. I mean, this is a big rivalry.
They're playing in Fenway. It's a
So-
big rivalry, winner take all. There's going to be a lot of
Shit talking.
shit talking. A lot of emotion, a lot of October baseball. It's going to get really into the feel of October baseball. 7 o'clock. Oh man, I'm excited about that one. So
Yeah,
I
me
think that's
too.
going to be the only any sort of sport on that night. So that's going to get a lot of eyes.
That's tomorrow.
That is tomorrow. Is planning to be 60 degrees, a little bit of rain. Man, nothing better, nothing better. But depending if Garrett Cole takes it 6, 7 innings, they can sustain some offense, and the Sox are kind of suppressed and can't get any runs on the board. That's going to be the key to it. I mean, if the
Is Cole still having pitching problems since they took away the pine tar thing?
Man, it lines up to show that. That's showing, I mean, he finished
I'm just
16
saying.
wins. I mean, 3.2 ERA, but he was a sub 1 ERA before
Prior.
all of that. Same with was it Otani? Had a pretty solid season all the way
He
through.
still
But
finished
there was
well,
there
though.
was a couple pitchers who drop off drastically. Brandon Woodruff was one of them, and their velocity was just something crazy.
Yeah.
But with the Yankees having a really deep lineup, you never know who's going to rake for them that night. I mean, anything is on the board.
Facts.
So if they come in, they win. They might be on a roll, and that's the last thing you want when you play somebody. They're looking for a little bit of revenge. They I believe lost the series to Tampa Bay this year, and Tampa Bay just kind of ran through them. But I'm going with the Red Sox just out of gut. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking Red Sox also.
Red Sox.
I got to. I can't go for
But
the Yankees, man. I'm sorry.
if it happens, they got to shell Cole early. They got to crack this
Yeah,
guy.
yeah.
They got
to score in the first 3 innings
Yeah.
for sure. They just got to start putting runs on the board.
It's got to happen. Aggressive base running. You also got Alex Cora. He's a very aggressive base running type of coach. Let's say move on to the NL.
Yeah.
All right, so we're looking at the Dodgers. We're looking at the Cardinals. Dodgers Cardinals. That is going to be a hell of a matchup. I don't think anybody.
How
like
did
I
the
mentioned,
Cardinals squeeze their way in just off a 16-game
they
winning
win.
streak?
They win. They win when
When
they
it
need
matters.
to win. They got Wainwright on the bump. That is just unbelievable. I think
Molina's last
that
season, supposedly.
that's
right?
enough juice to get you there.
Right.
Having Yadier Molina and Adam Wainwright, they just inked Adam Wainwright for one more season. I don't know if that's going to be enough. I don't know if they're going to have the pitching down the line.
Yeah.
I know they got a Houston kid on their pitching staff, but I just don't think it's going to be what they need to get over the hump against the Dodgers and Max
Yeah.
Scherzer. You got Max Scherzer, lights out Scherzer. I mean, unless he just
Has a bad night.
has one of those nights,
It
and
happens.
I think even with Kershaw out being pulled the other night, Scherzer's still the guy you're going to go with. That just made the decision a whole lot easier. Between Wainwright and Scherzer, I think this was 2014, and we were watching something different. Now you got Arredondo, Goldschmidt, some of the big heavy hitters for the Cardinals. Because honestly, if you're not a baseball fan, not many people know who's even on the Cardinals.
Right.
You got with Paul Goldschmidt, he's a local guy from the Woodlands. Arenado came over in the trade from Colorado when they were just a giant dumpster fire and dumped everybody. But they've got the guys that can get them to the next level, maybe a couple young hitters. But the Dodgers,
Maybe not this year, though.
everybody knows the Dodgers.
Yeah.
You've got Trey Turner, hit a grand slam the other night against the Padres out of nowhere. Just hate him. Hated him when he was with the Nationals. It's just a headache. He seems like a
little
guy.
cocky fucker.
He's just a headache. He's one of those guys that's always going to be a headache, but a good headache, somebody that I love to have on my team.
Yeah.
The same type of headache that Correa is for other teams, So we'll get to that here in a second. My guy Correa. But I'm really hoping the Dodgers actually win because I want to see a San Francisco LA NLDS. That will be unbelievable.
That'd
That will
be
be one
lit.
for the books. Unfortunately, we got the Braves and the Brewers. I think the Braves are just going to run through the Brewers. The Braves are a really good team.
Yeah, I like the Braves in that matchup.
They put a lot of good baseball together down the stretch. Beat a lot of good teams. They beat the Padres. They beat the Dodgers. There was a couple nights in there where they had Dodgers, they had Cardinals, and they had the Giants all in a 10, 15 days. And that just really doesn't happen. But I'm hoping that the Dodgers are going to win that. I'm thinking it's really a coin toss. It's really a toss-up, and it comes down to Mad Max. As long as Mad Max comes out and does what he does, I mean, Dodgers are heavy favorites, minus 215. So I think the Dodgers will come out and win. I don't think that's really going to be up for
Yeah, I don't think that's up for debate.
Yeah, but if it is,
But unless, the Dodgers just have a bad night, St. Louis happens to win on a fluke.
but it's October baseball.
You're right.
A couple years ago, the Nationals weren't supposed to be the Dodgers. So
Right.
it comes in spurts and it happens like that.
You never know.
The mighty must fall eventually. And that's why being an Astros homer, I've always hated to play teams like Tampa Bay,
Yeah.
because the Giants got to fall sometime. All right, so ALDS Boston Tampa Bay. As much as I'd really love to see Boston give Tampa Bay a run for their money, I'd like to see them take them 6, maybe 7. It'll probably be a Tampa Bay in 5, I'd say. They can get a good pitching staff out there, get everybody throwing, and get Michael Wacha's playing really, really well. You've also got some of these guys like Colin McHugh in their bullpen, who's 1 point something ER or
Yeah,
1 point something
ridiculous.
whip, like right now. Like, geez, that's that Brett Strom in them.
Right.
But I'm thinking Tampa Bay. That's going to be a quick one. I got Tampa Bay over Boston.
Over Boston.
What do you think?
I like it. I think Tampa Bay does go on to the ALCS. I think we're gonna have a, little ALCS Astros rematch.
That'd be nice. That's
Tampa
what
Bay.
we're shooting for. But from the ALDS, we got Tampa Bay moving on. Let's move over to the NLCS. Okay,
NLDS.
we'll go. Excuse me, NLDS. We'll go move over to NLDS. We'll go Atlanta, Milwaukee. Okay, Atlanta, Milwaukee. Milwaukee is actually seeded a little bit higher than Atlanta. Milwaukee's the 2 seed.
But I still like Atlanta in that
You
one.
got Atlanta coming in at the 3, and a team like Atlanta, they don't care. They don't care who they're playing, what they're playing. They're just gonna show up and hit bombs. You got vets like Freddie Freeman. Imagine if this team had Acuna. Acuna is hurt. Like, what? They've got more talent. You got pitchers that have been hurt, that are coming back. They had one pitcher that tore his Achilles. I think it's Michael Sorka. Tore his Achilles last year, stepped out of the dugout and tore his Achilles again.
Jesus.
Yeah. So, and
Terrible luck.
that is the type of luck that the Braves have had. But you got Uncle Charlie playing for the Atlanta Braves, playing like a freaking champ. Charlie fucking Morton, just doing what Charlie
that
fucking
guy.
Morton does.
I love that guy.
I mean, that's Uncle Charlie to me. Like, you can't tell me anything else. I've got a mini autograph collections, and Charlie Morton is one of my absolute favorite autographs that I have. Charlie F. and Morton. Austin Riley, who's low-key playing like one of the absolute best third basemen in the league offensively. So you got the bats there. Milwaukee hasn't. I mean, they've won 95 games, so they're a better home team than they are away team, but they're very, very similar in roster. And the Braves have just gone through the absolute ringer with these teams. But Milwaukee is. I mean, they're a solid team. They're on paper, they're favored, but it is not by much. You're looking at Vegas thinks it's damn near a split down the middle. But what are you thinking about Braves?
I like the Braves. Honestly,
I like the
don't know,
Braves,
just
but
like
I
the
think
feel of it.
I think the Brewers are going to take them. I think the Brewers are going to
so?
take them
In 7.
7, but the Braves are notorious for being the Braves in October. So I say this because last year I think they almost lost to the Marlins. They damn near lost to the Marlins.
Right.
Who loses the Marlins?
Where the Marlins still play baseball?
I mean, it is. I mean, hey, but you got to start somewhere because I remember back in the day when the Marlins were a new team and you had Dontrelle Willis beat the Yankees in the World Series. Something else, man. I know, wasn't the one of the Yankees was the Diamondbacks?
Oh,
Diamondbacks, I think.
You're the sports
I
encyclopedia.
don't know. Yeah, I was a kid. I was a little kid. Yeah. So,
I only
but
watch soccer.
I'm leaning towards the Braves, man. I'm leaning towards Uncle Charlie winning the first game and getting them off to a good start. I don't know exactly what the Braves are going to do in their bullpen. I watch a lot of Braves baseball just because my boss is a Braves fan, so he puts on the games when they're on. So I hear him bitch about it whenever they're doing bad, and he bitches about it a lot. So I was like, how are these guys in the playoffs and he's still bitching, But being a Braves fan, I know more of the Braves' sorrows than non-Braves fans because he just tells me, all of the close calls they have over the season. But I'm leaning towards the Braves on this one. Braves I'd say Braves take them in 5 or 6. I would not be surprised if Milwaukee maybe comes off to 2-1 start, 2-0 start, and then the Braves start playing ball. But if Milwaukee brings them off to a maybe 1-1, they take one in Atlanta, I mean, maybe they can win it, But that's going to be one that I'll probably have to watch a couple games because these games go either way. It's really whoever has the other pitcher's number. These guys are they're throwing out their best pitchers. You're trying to match them up. It's like a chess match. That's why some of these real baseball guys, these analytic guys, like AJ Hinch, do so well, and these assholes like some of these Tony La Russas,
Yeah.
like I don't do analytics. Like who needs analytics? That kind of
Right.
guys, Like I'm an anti Tony La Russa guy. First of all, anybody that doesn't know, I think Tony La Russa is a scumbag. I think the White Sox should have hired AJ Hinch.
Right.
That's the way they should have gone.
But they
But
didn't.
they didn't, and next thing you know, Carlos Correa is about to sign and be a Detroit Tiger. All right, so we'll move on to the next one. Okay, so
Let's not talk about that.
I think we agree that the Atlanta Braves are going to move on.
Okay, but let's talk about if New York plays Tampa Bay. How do you see that going if New York and Tampa Bay end up facing off in the ALDS?
I think the Yankees take them
I
seven.
think the Yankees take them 7.
I think
And
the
win?
Yankees take them seven. It's tough. I think the Yankees can win. I think the Yankees win. They're gonna have the juice.
Yeah.
You don't want them to have the juice. If the Yankees win that wild card, they're gonna be on a rampage and they're gonna come. They're gonna have a hit list. They're
Yeah.
gonna come from the top to the bottom,
And they're going to want the Astros.
and they're gonna want every bit of every single sort of problem anybody has with them. Okay, so
True.
let's say the Yankees play Tampa Bay. I think it's a 7-game series, and I think the Yankees probably win just because they can hit. Tampa Bay is very deep in pitching. It just depends on how their pitching duels go. What's for the argument itself, Tampa Bay taking them 7 and maybe pitching well and holding them to a low scoring game. I can see that, but at the end of the day,
That'd be a good matchup.
the Yankees got the juice if they're
Yeah.
winning a wild card game.
No,
The Yankees
true.
got the juice. They're coming in there ready to hit bombs. They got a lot of fans in Florida.
Yeah.
A lot of fans in Florida.
They
So
have
those,
fans everywhere.
yeah, but those Yankee fans go. There are more Yankee fans at those games than Tampa Bay Rays
Tampa Bay
fans.
Rays fans.
There's no such thing as a Tampa Bay Rays fan. There are all other fans that happen to go to Rays games. So
'Cause they live near
exactly.
Or they're
So
bandwagon fans.
exactly right. All right, so let's
Conversation.
move from here. Let's move on from here and talk
NLDS.
NLDS. Okay.
Possibilities. LA. San Fran.
LA San Fran.
That's going 7.
That's going 7. That's going 7.
It's a toss.
But if the Giants plays giant baseball, which I know they can do. By the way, disclaimer: the Giants are my NL team. I'm not really riding with them. Never have rode with them. My son and his stepdad are Giants fans, so I watch a lot of them. So I like to watch Buster Posey, some familiar faces, and what they've been doing and what the wins they've strung together are crazy. Like
Yeah.
they've just beat team after team after team, and
they're playing some good baseball.
they're playing
this
good
season.
baseball. Their pitching is great. They're out there with veterans, dudes that have been there before. Scott Kashmir in the bullpen came back to play with the team after he was just in Japan
Playing.
to play for the Olympics. Like that's just a
Wow.
veteran. Like Scott
Yeah.
Kashmir is a vet. He's from Cyprus. I mean, they've got a lot of good. Brandon Crawford, shortstop. Garrett Cole's brother-in-law, actually.
Wow.
And what a World Series that would be, right?
Right.
But I really, really want to see the Giants just put it on them, winning 5 or 6, because the Dodgers, I've seen it. The Dodgers can get defeated, and the Dodgers can. You ever seen that meme of like people walking around the office, like throwing paper in the air and
Yeah.
then running back? Go,
Then pick it
shit!
up.
I need this. It's only Monday.
Yeah,
that's
the Dodgers are notorious for imploding from within.
that's what it
so-
seems like it is inside the Dodgers organization. When they drop 2, they're not supposed to drop. So a little bit of adversity, and the San Francisco Giants are not supposed to be here. Like they're not supposed to be here.
Nobody predicted that they'd be here
So
in the beginning of the season.
this is fall
right?
baseball. This is a very, very 2017 Astros team. Not surprised if they win it all. Would like to see them get close. I want my Stros to win, but like to see them get close. But that's something that I'm definitely going to keep a close eye on. Now, if they play the Cardinals have one thing in common with the Dodgers: their bats are hot. But the Cardinals, if they win, they're coming off a 16-game win streak. Then they're rolling into the playoffs with the juice.
Yeah.
The juice is important,
juice is
man.
important.
If you
In
got
October,
it, you
it
got the
is.
juice, you got the juice. So they win one, they can win more. And they're a high-functioning offensive team whenever they're moving. So I think that might be a different story. I got San Francisco over L.A. I've got St. Louis over San Francisco if St. Louis plays San Francisco. And the reason I
Wow.
say that is it's the wild card juice, man. It's like when you play that extra game, you get in a routine, and baseball's
Yeah.
a routine thing.
It's like you're already starting off on the playoffs before everyone
Exactly.
else.
And I want a team that's hot. That's why I was so worried about us being,
Yeah.
But if we get out there and we roll, when I say we, I mean the Astros, we play some baseball.
Yeah.
So
Do what we do in October.
exactly. And then from there, if
Now
we're
we
looking
go-
at a San Francisco Giants, Atlanta Braves, NLCS, I'm without a doubt having to go with the San Francisco Giants.
Yeah.
There's no question in my mind. I don't think the Braves can. I don't think the
Keep
Braves can match up. I don't think that is anything that is.
Yeah, I just see the
I don't think it's
Giants
entertaining. I just
yeah.
think it's not a
I
blowout.
see Giants
but
getting ahead
yeah,
early in
five,
the
five,
game. Yeah.
5-1, something like that. Or excuse me, game 5.
Yeah.
Quick, simple.
Yeah, I
bang
see
bang.
San Francisco getting leads early and Atlanta just not being able to keep up. Definitely.
That's
I
exactly
say
what
game
I'm thinking.
5 also. I think they drop one, maybe,
Yeah.
for old time's sake.
and we're taking our attention back to the ALDS. Talk a little Astros. Of course, you're not going to hear me any Astros slander. In Correa we trust.
They're the best team ever.
God bless Jim Crane and everybody that is an Astros fan. So I say that to say this: if we don't re-sign Correa for $30 million a year for at least $5 million, or excuse me, 5 years, $30 million. Was that 5 years, $30 million? You're looking at 190, 200 million, something like that. Sorry, hold on.
If
Sorry,
they let
guys.
that happen,
Don't
I've
come
lost,
for me. Don't come for me. I'm doing some math. I know. I'm a finance manager.
do the math. But if they let Correa walk, I'm done with Houston management, bro. The way they
150.
manage these sports teams here.
Yeah, but you also got to.
I mean, what are we? Are we a mill for developing superstars and just sending them on their way?
You pay Correa, give him 5 years, 7 years, maybe 30. I think max is 31 million,
I'd
32
say
million.
5 years. I don't see
You pay
7
the man, trade him if he's not well. You'll get some value, but I don't think it's a coincidence that he's healthy in his contract year.
Yeah.
I think he's a little bit of a prima donna. Don't come for me. Don't come for me, guys. I think he's a little bit of a prima donna. He could be a prima donna, but you have that right. Like you got a World Series ring for Houston. Like, okay, cool. Do you, man?
Give me
Like,
another.
do what you do. But so not to think ahead, but I think that they're gonna come out, and I think they're gonna come out with their chest out, and I think they're gonna say, hey, we are a championship winning team, and I think guys like Jake Myers gonna rake. He's a winning baseball player. Jake Myers is a really, really good player. They had to move Miles Straw in order to get dude some time because Dusty Baker really, really liked Miles Straw. But the Astros need to stay away from early lead, giving up early leads. They need to be consistent.
Their bats got to be working.
But
Seems like to always be a common theme come the playoffs.
they
Our
can't
bats
fall
kinda go
asleep.
dead.
They can't fall asleep on the mound. You catch Luis Garcia throwing one hanger, next thing you know, it's in the Crawford boxes.
Yep.
So you can't lose though. You can't have those
small
little
mistakes.
errors, and man, with the Astros pitching rotation, I don't know what you're gonna do. You're not gonna. I don't think you're gonna trot out Greinke.
No, they were talking about him coming out of the bullpen.
That's what I'm saying. You don't. I don't think you tried out Greinke. You just.
But the thing is, and I don't really like Greinke in the playoffs either because I feel like he gives up early runs.
Well, it's people are expecting him to do well. People are expecting that because that's Greinke. You know what I mean? That's that's Greinke. But all right. For example, we're gonna carry a lot of relievers. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that we're really going to worry about carrying it because I know we have like 3 catchers on our roster. You got Maldonado, Castro, and carrying somebody else, and Marwin. So you almost have to carry Marwin, right? You almost have to carry him in the roster, even if he doesn't make the roster. You're still on the team,
Right. You got to have him there. DH
with
moral support.
With our situation, if we trot out our best offense and we get out there and get after it and the bats are swinging, and I know it sounds generic. Of course, the bats are swinging. You hit baseballs, you win fucking baseball games. It is what it is. But that's what we have to do as a baseball team: is you get out there, not leave players on base, be conservative with the base running, because I think we had the most players thrown out from third this year. Some crazy shit like that should not be the case. And that normally comes from either the third base coach or them just being too aggressive.
Yeah.
Which is, there shouldn't be any such thing as being too aggressive. You just have to be conservative with your runners on base against teams like Tampa Bay and the White Sox. Because, I mean, you got Luis Robert, you got Eloy Jimenez, you've got Lucas Giolito, who's the number 1 overall pick 5 years ago or so. Like, Lucas Giolito throws dimes. Like, that guy is on all day. I'm not excited about facing him. You also got Dallas Keuchel, who I didn't like throwing out there when he was the postseason pitcher for the Astros. Maybe we can go out there and shell Keuchel. I wouldn't mind shelling Keuchel a little bit.
Nah, me either.
But well, I'll take the Astros. Take them in 6. Astros in 6 because they might have a couple get away from them.
Yeah.
After the Astros in 6.
After all our day games, thanks to the
All those
fucking
chicken
MLB.
shit day games.
Chicken shit. What the fuck, MLB? No respect. But I think the Astros have something to prove this year, because last year, even though we made it to the ALCS, there were no fans in the stands. So I think this year, fans in the stands, October baseball, they want to come out. They want to come out hot and just silence.
This
every
is going to
away
be
crowd.
their tour for blood. They're going to go around and they're going to stick their chest out. They're going to say, "This is who I am. I am that dude. We are those guys.
Yeah.
We are who everybody thought we were, and we're
still
going to
hitting trash cans.
exactly
Bitch.
right. Yeah. There we go. I mean, at the end of the day, Astros hit baseballs. They're going to win, but their pitching needs to show up because the White Sox can ball. The White Sox can play ball. I mean, they're up and coming. They've had the first overall pick for fucking 15 years in a row. It seems like they should be good by now.
Oh, so you mean since the last time they played us?
Yeah, exactly.
Since
the last time they broke our hearts.
2004.
So we'll go Astros, Yankees, Astros, Tampa Bay.
Okay, so during the ALDS, it's no White Sox, right? Remember in 2004 when we played them in the World Series?
That's funny.
Nobody
White Sox.
wore white
Nobody
socks.
wore White Sox. They
Nobody
wore
wore
their
white
different
socks.
colored socks.
So don't let me catch your ass out on the streets wearing White Sox.
No White
Somebody
Sox.
fuck you up.
No White Sox.
No White Sox.
This is where you need to get like a Stance sponsorship.
Right.
You get like a Stance MLB sponsor. I don't know if you've seen those, but Stance is the MLB sponsor for socks. They make their socks now, and they're dope as shit. They have a little Stance logo. Bo Bichette sponsored by them. Nice. Pretty cool. But yeah, the MLB, they're getting a little bit more drip, man. Some of these players are walking into different gear and whatnot. And some of these guys are putting that with like Jordan cleats and Hirachis and shit. Like, damn, that's pretty tight. Normally baseball has been like the quiet sport,
right.
But so we get Astros, Tampa Bay, or Astros, Yankees. I think if it's the Astros, Yankees, I'm worried. I'm worried because of the rivalry, and I'm worried because of the storyline and the MLB running with the storyline.
Yeah,
I'm worried about hearing all that shit. I'm worried about Altuve having the
buzzer.
What do they call it? The ick. I'm worried about Altuve getting the ick. I'm worried about him dropping the ball at second base like he did last year.
Yeah.
I'm worried about that shit. Like, I'm worried about like psychological.
Just like the stage getting to him.
But
basically.
you know what? I know Correa is that dude, and Correa is gonna come up in Correa moments.
Yeah.
So all we can do is hope that Correa takes us there. Fair warning, I'm not going against the Astros. So Astros are winning it all to me, but you got the Astros in the World Series. If the Astros do not go to the World Series, they're going to lose to the New York Yankees. The Yankees are going to go to the World Series if it's not the Astros, okay?
Yeah.
Quote me on that. Write that shit down. That's going to happen, okay? If it's not the Astros, it's going to be the Yankees, just because the Yankees are going to have that juice. They're going to have that fire. They're going to be there. And it's one of those things to where they've been there, they know how to get there, and they that's a game plan.
Nope. T-Mill, the devil is a lie.
Absolutely.
The devil is a lie.
But that's the teams that make it, is teams who know how to get there.
Yep.
So now, you don't have many guys around in the playoffs that have got there. I mean, you won one season deep for the Braves. Milwaukee, Yelich. What? I mean, you got a couple guys that have been there, but like for the most part, the AL is full of just. It's a fucking gladiator tank, dude.
Yeah.
Like, what? Like, if it's not this, then yeah, you lucked out not having to play the two other AL West teams, but the best AL teams made it
Yeah.
without a freaking doubt.
Oh no, for sure.
And I think that the
It's gonna be a
NL teams, certain NL teams fell into position the way they fell into position, but we'll can't help how it works out,
right.
can't help how it happened, just how it works out. And
Rules
at
of
the
the
end of the day,
rules.
I think it's going to be an Astros. I think it's going to be an Astros Giants World Series.
I think so too.
I don't want it to be. I'd like it to be an Astro. I would like to see an Astros Dodgers World Series. I like to
A
break my
real
foot off in their
rematch.
ass.
Yeah.
But that's another situation that I'm not confident in because I don't want the MLB storyline to be
So
the
huge. All
fucking
the
cheaters
cheating
versus the
scandals.
team that was well deserving 3 years ago.
They weren't well
They were
deserving.
stealing signs in the bullpen. There's been multiple stories
Sources,
about
yeah.
it. They beat the Brewers, and the reason they beat the Brewer, not the reason, but big thing was, they were stealing signs.
Yeah.
And Cleveland Indians, another team. You got the Rangers, another team. There's been multiple teams that have.
I mean, everybody does it. It's a part of the game.
Multiple teams that have done it electronically.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, this is the Astros revenge tour, and it starts now. Last year was a little, meh.
Yeah.
You might see us at a couple games. This is something that
You will definitely see me at game 2.
this is
I already
definitely
bought my tickets.
this is something that we've been talking about for a while. And what better time to come out there in postseason baseball?
Right.
October, Mr. October. October makes winners. Every couple years, there's always somebody new that comes out of it.
Yeah.
A couple years ago, I mean, you got to think about it. George Springer is like number 4 all time in postseason home runs.
Yeah. All time.
What kind of shit is that? You talking
Playoff
about George Springer, the second round pick out of UConn? Like what? No way. Like you can make this shit up.
Right.
But as a postseason Astro legend, so legends are made in the postseason. I was really kind of bummed Toronto Blue Jays didn't make it because I wanted
Yeah,
to
me
see
too. I did want to
some
see
young
that.
legends
I want to see,
just
Vlad
ball.
Jr. in there.
But the White Sox, or if
They're
the
the
White
it right
Sox,
now.
dude, the White Sox have got some of those young cats that are doing it, and the Braves when they got Acuna healthy, I mean the Braves are doing it without what's his name? Ozuna or not Ozuna? They have a dude suspended for domestic violence. Yeah, Marcos Ozuna, right?
Was it?
That's his name.
Only one I know is the dude from the Dodgers.
Hold up, I'm gonna find
Yeah,
this out.
Trevor
Sorry, guys.
Bauer.
What a fucked up situation that is.
Right. And did he get acquitted of all those charges?
It was never prosecuted.
Oh, that's right.
Okay, yeah, so that's right. Marcelo Ozuna, he had this domestic violence issue with his wife. First of all, ban the guy, kick him out the fucking league. But second of all, they missed Ozuna. They're missing Acuna. I mean, those are arguably your 2 most offensive producing players. But at the end of the day, I think they're going to win still. Quick little recap. I think that the Cardinals will go to the World Series if they beat the Dodgers. Okay, they're going to have that juice. We got something that you can't talk about, you can't put your finger on, but they got it.
Well, hopefully it's that way the Astros can beat them.
Yeah, I mean, hey, it is Minute Maid. We got all the juice.
Right.
We literally it's literally
We
the
literally
fucking
the
juice
juice
box.
box.
That's it. All right, so you got Tampa Bay over Boston, Yankees over Tampa Bay, Astros over Sox. Ultimately, think the Astros win it all. Hopefully, in a Game 7. We all know what it takes to get there. We got some veterans. I think we've got more World Series. I think we got more World Series experience on our team now than any other team in the make, except maybe the Dodgers. Just because we've been there, we've done it before. We have a lot of homegrown talent, and everybody knows what's expected of us. And not to mention, I love to see Dusty fucking Baker get a World Series ring.
Right,
That's
awesome
one
for him.
thing that a lot of people don't pay attention to is Dusty Baker. You remember that real famous catch, the Willie Mays catch in the outfield over his shoulder, or excuse me, not the catch. The shot. Willie Mays was on deck. Willie Mays hit the just World Series 1954 World Series. Dusty Baker was on deck. Okay, so Dusty Baker has been around for a long time. He's a OG, and I think this might be the one that gets him there. So What are you thinking at the end? You think who you think's gonna win? The Astros, and who are they playing?
I like the Astros in the World Series, and the Giants are just hot right now. If it's hard to go against them,
That is.
but man, I'm gonna have to say I got Astros Giants. I just don't think there's really many people that can really compete with them unless they. I mean, if they compete with them, it's on a fluke. You know,
Yeah,
it's like they got to play their best game. You know,
that's true.
so
If they meet and they win, it's because one team played their best game and the other team did not show up to play their best game.
exactly.
So I get that. But we'll see how it shakes
I mean,
out.
we never know, right?
I do think at the end of the day, we're going to be talking about, and I think depending on how this goes, depending on how all the Life Without Limits podcast fans like this, if you guys like to see a little bit more sports, a little bit more anything else, we love to put it on out there. But we might get weekly recaps of the postseason baseball because there's nothing like postseason baseball.
There's
When
not.
I say there's nothing like postseason baseball, you're going to have little kids staying up till 11 o'clock at night watching 11-inning baseball games.
Right.
You're going to have, for example, when I met my wife, it was in 2017 when we went to the World Series, and we watched these games downstairs at a pizza place that was connected to her apartment. So
Oh, wow.
if it was a game that looked like it was a blowout, we'd be watching it because she didn't have cable. We watched it on a computer. And then when Marwin hit the tying run, we went downstairs to Your Pie. Your Pie was closed, but they kept it open for us, and then they made us pizzas. So we watched the whole game in the freaking pizza place. So like
Nice.
World Series games and October shit brings you super dope memories like that.
Yeah, no, facts.
And I know now, 5 years into AL West champs, it's a window that we're never going to see again in our life. As crazy as it sounds, I'm 28 years old, pushing 30, and I have never seen anything like this. 5 years of my life has been nothing but winning Astros baseball.
Right,
And,
which is awesome.
you
Because
know,
I remember when they were fucking losing 100 games.
I tell people all the time, I'm a
$5
100 loss
tickets.
Astros fan.
Same.
We used to roll up in high school with like 12 of us for $1 tickets, and we just
Sit wherever
show
the
up,
fuck you want.
sit wherever. I remember I got an autograph from what's his name, played for the Red Sox, AJ Martinez. AJ Martinez signed my baseball in like 2013, 2012. And he was on the Astros for a short stint. I think we released him.
Yeah.
So now he's out there hitting fucking nukes.
Yeah.
So crazy how it works. We've got a hell of an organization, and I say we, and I know that's not something that you're supposed to do when you do this, but I mean, I bleed this blue and orange shit, dude. This is what I do. Love this shit. Houston sports, it's a double-edged sword. I've been heartbroken more times than I can imagine.
Then I've cheered.
I remember where I was almost every major mile marker and every major event in Houston sports history, but Astros, special place, special time. I always know where I was for what it was. And this year, I think it's gonna be.
I think it's gonna be the year.
I think it's gonna be the year, and it's gonna be that much sweeter. But if it is Correa's last season, I just like to see the ride, But at the end of the day, I think the Astros are going to take it. Astros take it and hopefully 6-7 games, But man, I had a good time in here. Thanks for having me,
same.
and
No, for sure. We're gonna do
hopefully
this
to
again.
see y'all again here soon. We'll take it easy, and we will talk to y'all soon. Go Stros!
Go Stros.